Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, man. I hope you all are well. Happy Friday. Look, cheers. But no, happy Friday, man. I hope everybody had a great day out there. If you went to work, if you stayed at home, if you had to be homeschool teacher, whatever you did, man. I hope everybody is doing well, man. Tonight's guest, I don't know how I got her because she doesn't even talk a lot in the bowling alley, and we about to put her in the hot seat. And man, shoot your questions, man, because she is one of those women. When you see her, you were like, damn, like, yeah, she's one of them. But dude, I'm happy to know her actually, man, because before I was like, I should outfield her. So I'm gonna bring my girl to the screen, Trisha Reid. What's up,
Hey, what's up, Brandon?
man? I can't complain. Happy it's Friday.
Me too. Me too.
Hey, so are you working every day? What's up?
Yeah, I'm still considered essential. I do like inventory for a company, so it's I gotta go in every day. I wish I could be at home, but yeah, I'm going in every day.
Yeah, that's good. Like I said, you're still bringing that steady money in. That's all. That's all that counts.
Yep. Especially since we don't got bowling to fall back on.
For real, man. Us as bowlers don't realize how much money we bring home in pots, just here and there. And I'm like, because it was like maybe like a month or so, and I'm like, man, why I never had no money in my pocket? It's because I never go to the bank unless I have to go bowl.
Yep. You'd be surprised how much that little money like keep gas in your car, buy groceries for the week. Just little simple stuff.
Real talk, real talk. And I'm like, dude, what's really going on here? But they say this bowling thing, talking to Vern today, Vern was like, this bowling thing is like phase 4. So we only on phase 1. So I'm just really just taking it day by day, and whatever they tell us, they tell us. I don't care.
Yeah, super. I like for real feel fortunate to have a job.
Yeah, real talk. Like I go to work 3 days a week, do training 2 days a week from home. So, I'm still doing my thing. So, happy about that.
Yep.
All right, man. Look, guys, I told y'all it's Trisha Reid from Detroit. Well, she lives in Detroit, but we about to find out more about her right now. But hey, tell us just a little bit about yourself, because the questions is gonna come. That's for sure.
Okay, so born and raised in Columbus. I was there all my life. Then I moved here. My boyfriend Lamar lives here, so I moved here. Me and Lamar from Lamar, and that's really it. I mean, I've been bowling since I was 7. Um, I don't know. I mean, I didn't go to college for bowling. I just kind of got it naturally. Honest, just stayed in the bowling alley. Um, I lived in the bowling alley. I remember Saturday League. I couldn't wait to go to Saturday League. That was like the highlight of my weekends when I was younger. And
Wow.
then, yeah, from there, just kind of I met George back when I was probably around 20 or so. And that's when I kind of really, really, really started learning the game, learning about bowling balls, learning about different patterns. So I think that's when I kind of like really, really did it competitively. And then I just so happened to say, well, I just want to try it professionally. So that's when in 2008 I went out for tour trials, and that's when I made the TV show.
Man. So you say you're born and raised in Cbus.
Yep.
All right. Hey, tell us about your childhood. How was that?
Oh, good. It was good. Mother and father was together for most of my life. Um, Everything was good. I went to a Columbus public school, which usually the school I went to, everybody would be like, "Oh, you went to?" I went to Walnut Ridge. They'd be like, "Oh, you went to Walnut Ridge?" Like it was some horrible thing, but my schooling was good. I got straight A's. I graduated number 2 in my class. I got an academic scholarship to go to Ohio State, so that's where I end up going to Ohio State for free. And then got a degree in hospitality management, minor in business. And after I finished college, that's when I went out to try to be on tour. So
That's what's up. I'll tell
yeah,
you, this is why I love this show, man, because I learned so much about the bowlers outside of bowling. And like I said, you're one that really don't talk a lot. You know what I'm saying? So for you to come on was huge, man. So I appreciate it. Real talk to you.
thank you.
Jamie Wells, who are some of the people that poured into your game?
Hi, Jamie. Like I said from the beginning, when I was probably about 15, 16. I met this guy just from bowling. His name was Mike Elder, and that was probably the first person who really just worked with me on my game. George. And I think that's where it really started, where I became kind of really, really serious about it. After that, like I said, I met George. George knew a lot about the game, so I learned a lot from George. And then from there, like I just met so many people bowling these different tournaments across the country. So I just kind of, honestly, I asked so many questions. Like you could act like Zeke. Everybody knows Zeke. Like I would text Zeke all the time. Like Zeke, what am I doing wrong? What's going on? How do I play this pattern? Greg Thompson. I remember one time out at the Queens in North Carolina, and I was like so close on the pattern. I called Greg, like, Greg, I'm this close. This is what I'm seeing. He told me what balls to use, kind of what surfaces to use on the balls, and I ended up making that cut. So I just honestly, I just use all the resources around me. I ask Ronnie a lot of questions. Everybody who I think is great, that's who I reach out to. Like, ain't no shame in my game. I ask a lot of questions.
And it's so weird that you say you ask a lot of questions, because that when we see you in the bowling alley, you don't talk much. So for you to say you ask a lot of questions, you like, Trish asked you questions? Like, nah.
I do, like, all the time. Like, and I mean, I know it sounds crazy. I'm like, I know these people ain't gonna help me, and we probably bowling in the same tournament. But if I see somebody there that I trust enough that I think would give me some good, honest help, like, I'll go ask. Like, it's been plenty of times I didn't been bowling with somebody, and I'm like, please just help me. I just want to get to this first cut, and I'll do the rest. So, yeah, I ask a lot of questions.
That's what's up. Hey, George asks, how did it feel to be on your TV how did it feel to be on TV your first time?
Honestly, I swear I was not nervous. I wasn't nervous. Like, I don't know, the first match I bowled Jen, and me and Jen like were really close. We're closer now, but we were close back then. And it was like, okay, I definitely don't have nothing to be nervous about in this situation, because me and Jen had already bowled together a lot. It was like my homegirl. So
Right.
I think, honestly, I think that by me bowling Jen that first match really kind of made me a little bit more relaxed, which made me more relaxed for the next match, and the next match. So I wasn't nervous. I think if it would have been somebody else I bowled the first match, somebody I wasn't familiar with, then it would have been, a little bit more nerve wracking. But I think it went pretty good
There you go.
as far as my nerves were concerned.
Ken Rogers said, can you tell the people who Sunday TV is?
So Kenny always thinks that, no, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't. Maybe it's just because I feel like I don't qualify well sometimes in a lot of tournaments. So, like, a lot of times when we bowl to Rodman or bowl Cleveland, I'll be struggling, man. Like, I'll be at the bottom of the damn pack, and next thing you know, I'll make that cut, and then Kenny will always be like, "We know T Reid coming," so he'll be like, "Here comes Sunday T Reid." So, and I don't know, like, I just turn it on better on Sunday than I do in like qualifying on Saturday for whatever reason. I don't know.
Is it because you know you're going to make that cut on Saturday, and then Sunday you're going to turn it up?
Shit, I don't always feel like I'll make that cut on Saturday. I don't know. I don't know why. I think because on Saturday it's so far away from the finish line. So maybe I'm too relaxed on Saturday, honestly. I don't know. And then Sunday is like, oh, I can see that finish line, so I turn it up. And that's why, I mean, Kitty been calling me that for years. Like, Kitty probably been calling me Sunday T Reid for 10 years.
Okay. Hey, Maurice Moore asks, what is your favorite tournament?
Ooh, that's a good one. Favorite tournament. Let me come. I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back to that one. My favorite tournament. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't like bowling 2-day tournaments. Like, I think I get really like anxious. Like, stuff like the Rodman and the Canadian. Like, it drives me nuts. Like, we bowl our Ohio Queens. Like, that just, I get so anxious with stuff like that.
Right.
So honestly, if I had to pick a favorite tournament, it would not be like a big tournament. It would probably be something like more relaxed, something more fun, something more chill. Because those other things just it drives me nuts. And like you said, I'm always quiet, and I think it's just because I'll be so focused.
Okay. Here we go. George asks, top 5 bowling balls all time.
Ooh. Okay, so going head to head, a strike zone and vapor zone, but the original ones.
Okay.
Those two are probably like my number one. I think like that whole what's the gold radical called, George? I'm so bad with names for bowling balls, but there's this gold radical ball that's really good. That's probably in my top 5 right now. I remember a long time ago, I used to have like this roto grip sale, and I bowled this tournament in Pittsburgh that everybody bowls, and I was the first woman ever, kind of legend, yes. That's probably my top 5. I had a roto grip sale. I think it's a roto grip sale. It's a Stormer roto grip, and that ball used to be so good. That's probably in my top 5 that like stands out. I mean, that was a long time ago. I don't know. I have to think about the other 3, but yeah, definitely. Those are the ones that stand out.
So how long have you been with Brunswick?
Ooh, I've been with them probably now for about 7-8 years now.
Okay. And before then, were you with anyone else?
Nope. And I got a good story about that too. When I was first coming up, before I made the TV show, I had reached out to companies. So I made the TV show in 2008. So before that, I had reached out to companies, trying to get on. Nobody wanted to sign me. Even after I made the TV show, nobody wanted to sign me. It just so happened that I met somebody at Brunswick, really good guy, Kevin. I don't know if I pronounced his last name wrong or right, Tabaron. I met Kevin, and Kevin finally put me on, but it took a while for me to even get signed on to a company, even with the things that I had accomplished. Like companies wasn't checking for me. So, but I mean, it is what it is. Like I always felt like, I'll do me regardless of what I'm throwing. So I didn't need to be on a company to feel like I'm somebody.
There you go. Hey, Jamie Wells asked, when you knew you won the Open, who was the first person you were looking for to celebrate that milestone with?
Well, I came in second. I didn't win it. But when I won, who was the first person you were looking to celebrate? Probably my dad. Because everybody knows Big T Reid, he everywhere I go. People ask about him before they ask about me. So that they checking for him when they checking for me. But probably my dad, because he's the one that's been there, since I was young. He goes everywhere. So it's like that's my ride or die right there. So of course my dad at that point.
There you go. All right, but you say your dad. How long has your dad been going out? And I haven't seen him lately. Mm-hmm. How is he?
Good. Really, really good. He's still in Columbus, and he tries to make it when he can. It's kind of hard now with us living in 2 different cities, but he's really, really good. And I'm sure, like, once things get back going with bowling, he'll be, traveling more.
Right.
But he's really good.
All right, that's what's up there. Because I remember the first time I see him, I'm like, man, he's here. Dang, he's here. Dang, this turn. I'm like, this dude is everywhere.
Yeah. Yep. He kind of like when he goes, he handles the money part and he lets me just bowl. I don't got to worry about the bracket situation, the jackpot situation, like, which I love. Like, to me, it can be a distraction sometimes, trying to make sure you're getting in stuff. And it's just too much sometimes. So he's there to kind of just let me bowl. He does the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when I've seen him, you on the lanes and he's doing his walking around. And I'm like, dang, that's like she got it made.
Yep, he making sure bracket scores is right. He making sure jackpots is right. He be on it.
Absolutely. That's what's up. Maurice Moore asks, how do you prepare for a tournament?
It depends what type of tournament it's for. Like, of course, the 2-day tournaments like TNBA or say I'm going to the Queens or the US Open for the week, I really do try and get a lot of games in. I call my trusted people, like I'll call Zeke or shoot Zeke a text, like, what's going on? How can we put different types of shapes in my bag? We'll just kind of like map out a plan as best as I can based off the information I got for the tournament. And then I'll use probably like the 2 weeks before that to really make sure my timing is good, working on my spares. Just I kind of try and make sure I stay in the bowling alley for those couple weeks prior to like a big event.
Okay, that's what's up there. Are you going to bowl any of the U.S. Open? When they come back?
I don't know. I mean, literally, I haven't thrown a ball in 2 months, so
you ain't the only one.
I don't know how good I'm gonna be going out there with these old knees, trying to cut it loose. I don't know. Well, I was thinking maybe next year though. Honestly,
okay.
This year probably not, just because. I mean, I don't even know if it's coming back this year, honestly, but maybe next year.
What format is your favorite to participate in?
I hate a bracket. Like when we go bowl to Queens and it's double elimination, like our national queens and our state queens, for Ohio, it's like a big old bracket. I hate that just because I feel like, I don't know. I just hate it. I like longer formats. So like when we bowl our Rodmans, those are kind of, I would prefer that. Hey, Mike Haggett. I kind of prefer the longer format we used to have, where you just bowl, 4 or 5 game sets and you keep making the cut. I do better when I have more games, honestly. And I think kind of for me, bowling on the fresh, that's not what I'm great at. So the longer the format, the easier they're going to get for me. They kind of open up a little more and I can get loose. So I like longer formats.
There you go. Hey, George asks, why you be slapping people's hands so hard when you striking like you mad?
I be needing them, man. I be needing that one, George. Man. I be needing them. And I be in them brackets, so I be needing it, George.
That is funny. That is funny. Hey, after graduating, so you said you already answered that, but after graduating high school, you did go to Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why didn't you bowl collegiately? What was?
Okay, so actually, I did want to bowl collegiately, and I did. I actually went to another fun fact. I went to Bethune-Cookman in Daytona Beach for 2 weeks on a bowling scholarship, but I got so homesick. Like I was crying every day, calling home. I wanted to go home so bad. I just missed my dad. So eventually he got tired of me calling home and he said, bring your butt back home. So I ended up coming home, but luckily I came home in time to still start Ohio State. So that's why I ended up going to Ohio State, which was at home. And I got there before, before the semester started. And they had bowling there, but it was more like a fun thing when I was going there. It wasn't serious. I didn't think that I would like it. Like it wasn't on that type of level. And if I was going to bowl for college, I wanted to be, I wanted to be competitive. I wanted to still be able to work on my craft if I was going to do it. So what I did was I took those 4 or 5 years I was at Ohio State and I just bowled everything I could bowl. Like I bowled all the sweepers I could bowl, all the tournaments I could bowl on the weekend. I went to the Queens, I went to the US Open. I just bowled. I just was going to prepare myself for when I was done with college to be ready for tour if I could make it. And that's what ended up happening.
So there you go. Hey, Dewan Clark asks, hey, can you walk us through your startup ritual? I've seen so many elite level players and I put you tops with the intensity on your conversation. Reminds me literally of Earl.
I do try and make sure I generally repeat every single time because it's just like a force of habit. Like literally, I usually don't use a towel. So when I bowl tournaments where I need to use a towel, like it kind of does throw off my everyday ritual with bowling. But I just try and go up there. I breathe and I take my time. And as most people know, like I take longer on their approach than most people. And I know it, but I don't even care because I just be having to get settled and relax. And it depends like what I'm working on that week. If I have something I'm particularly trying to focus in on, like, say my feet have been slow for that week. Like, I'll get up there, set up, and just say, keep it slow. And I'll just repeat that every single time. But then next week, it might be something else. It might not be keep it slow when I go up there. It might be make sure you bend at the line. It could be anything. So I just kind of like those little focal lines in my mind for that week when I'm up there on the approach.
Okay. Hey, Tabitha Thomas asks, so many times people see great bowlers as being stuck up or arrogant, especially being African-American females. What do you do to combat this stigma? I'm
gonna be honest, I never heard that. As far as, I guess, what did she say? Us being arrogant? I never heard that, but maybe what it is I feel like African American bowlers, period, are intense. And like that's what I love about our community. Like, you seen somebody ask me about slapping hands out, you'll see people running shots out, you'll see people screaming. It's not that it's an arrogance, it's just a love and a passion that we share for the sport. I mean, you got to understand, like, most of us come from leagues where, maybe not now, but we used to bowl for thousands of dollars. So when you need them strikes, it's not arrogance, it's just an excitement that we got that one, or we didn't get that one. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know many African American bowlers that you can't walk up to and they'll honestly just be nice and friendly, answer your questions if you got questions, or say hi. And most of the time, if somebody does come off like that, I don't think it's an African American thing. It might just be bowlers, period. When they're in the zone, they're in their zone. So, I don't think it's an arrogance. I just think it's I'm in my zone, let me do me. There you go. Hey, what goes through your mind when you pump your fist after you strike and scour your face? Kenny, I don't know. I'll be in the moment. I don't know, Kenny. I don't know. I just be wanting it. Like, I think, honestly, when I look back, kind of going back like the US Open situation, even listen to the commentate, and me and my good friend DC and my other best friend Vernon, we were talking about the show, and we were talking about the commentating on the show that year. And at one point when I bowled Stephanie, one of the commentators said Stephanie was by far and they caught themselves. And I think they want to say she was by far the better bowler. I don't know, but that's what it came off as. But all the girls on the show all had bowled collegiately. They had all done all these amazing things. I was the only one that probably made that show who didn't have like that collegiate experience. I wasn't really known in that bowling world. So for us, people who haven't been there before, it's just a passion, really. It's like we get there, we don't have that experience, and when we there, we want it. So that's how the passion comes out. It comes out in us running shots out. It comes out in us slapping strikes out. It comes out slapping hands hard. I mean, it comes out in many different forms for us because that's just what we grew up around. You're right. I strongly agree. And Jello tell me all the time, dude, you talk to yourself in third person. I'm sorry. Yep. I mean, we don't have, like, I think, and again, I don't have that training, so I don't know what they do over there in collegiate world, but I just know, like, we don't have that training to be, well, I don't have that training. Let me speak for myself, to be mild-mannered and keep it all in and, act accordingly. Like, when I'm there, I'm in the moment, and that's just me. Hey, and keep doing you, T. Real talk. Keep doing you. Hey, what other hobbies do you have other than bowling? Watching TV. So I don't know. I work, with working and bowling. I used to bowl 3 nights a week. I think when I moved to Michigan, I bowled 2 nights a week. It don't really leave a lot of time to do a lot of other stuff, but Lamar's son plays basketball, and I love going to watch his son play basketball. So honestly, when I'm not bowling or not at work, a lot of times we probably getting some rest or watching the kids, do whatever they're doing. On the weekend, usually I might practice on the weekend sometimes. So it's not, honestly, as much as I was bowling, it's not like a lot of time to do something else. I mean, it's other things I like doing, but I wouldn't consider it a hobby. Okay. That's what's up there. So when you were younger, what other sports did you play, or it was just bowling? Um, well, my dad would say I didn't actually play it, but when I was in middle school, I did make the basketball team. I think I had 2 points all season. I wasn't that great. Brandon, don't do that. Hold on. No, listen, I had 2 points, but it was two free throws, and one of them didn't even count because we had a darn lane violation on my team. So I only had 1 point for the whole season.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That is
And
horrible.
then in high school, I was a cheerleader for 4 years. So, and Reese said that ain't no real sport either. So I guess I ain't doing much of
It's
nothing.
not.
Let
It,
everybody else tell it.
no. Cheerleading,
Hey, that's hard. Cheerleading hard.
man. And look, it's for the person that you are that don't talk and you screaming and hooping and hollering.
Well, I was a different person back in high school.
Uh,
I'm a lot more mild mannered now, so totally different person.
hey, Davon asks, hey, what's the best way to become a staffer of a brand?
I don't know. I would say honestly, really just bowl a lot and promote the brand. I think what they're looking for is sales more than anything. So
Right.
even if you're not the best bowler, you can still, bring something to a company, regardless if you're a great bowler. So long as you promoting the brand, I think being a good person on and um, off the lanes, I think those would be the three things that I would say. But definitely try and get those games in and bowl a lot of stuff.
Okay, there you go.
And, I guess every company wants something different as well. I mean, I don't know.
Right. Let's see. Dewan asks, speaking of commentating, is that one of your aspirations personally?
No. I hate public speaking. I don't like it. Honestly, I just had my Hall of Fame banquet for Ohio State. I got inducted and I was just so nervous up there doing my speech. Like I don't like talking in front of people. Even when I was in college, we had to get up and do presentations and it's just hard for me. I think I'm just an introvert, honestly, at heart, which people don't see because they see me on the lanes and they think I'm just like this, the person running out shots, the person screaming at the pins, but it's like that's not me outside of that situation. So no, I don't like doing it.
Hey, Norman Smith said, hey, what was it like bowling against Kim Kearney in the Women's U.S. Open?
Hey Norm, it was, I don't know. It was good. I definitely enjoyed it. I just like the whole experience as a whole, whether it was, Kim, Jen, Stephanie, and Shaolin. They were all like great experiences, but of course it was great bowling against Kim. If I remember correctly, I think me and Kim have the only all finals African American match ever in bowling history. So of course it's always great to be a part of history.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, shout out to Kim.
I'm trying to get her on the show. I know you know her. Go ahead and put a word in and say, hey, you need to go talk to my boy, Mr. Bowtie.
Okay.
No, real
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, I know she does a lot in bowling, so she'll be a good conversation to have.
Yeah, go ahead and put that word out. Hey, how long have you had that bowling relationship with Danny G and Higgins? Because I see you guys bowling a lot often together.
Good question. Let me see. So I graduated 2008. Me and Jen made the show together, but me and Jen were really, really, really good friends before that. Um, I don't know what it was called when I was younger, either the Pepsi or the Coke. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like this junior tournament that you would have to basically qualify for.
I
And
think it's the Pepsi.
the Pepsi, okay. So we were on the Pepsi. I was still in juniors. I was probably maybe 15, 16. And remember, I didn't grow up in like the JTBAs. Like I didn't bowl a lot of those junior tournaments. I was kind of just my local girl at home bowling on Saturdays. So I didn't do a lot of traveling as a junior either. But every year I would qualify for that Pepsi tournament. I remember one year bowling at Holiday Lanes in Columbus. It's a three-sided bowling alley.
Uh,
And it was my first time ever seeing Jen. And I was like a fan, honestly, because you know what I'm saying, I didn't do a lot of travel. I had never seen somebody throw the ball like that. That was a female. So I probably first seen Jim Bow when I was, like I said, like 15 or 16, maybe 14. And then as I got older, started bowling TNBA stuff, started traveling more. When I got around 19, 18, 19, that's when me and Jen became really, really good friends. She moved to Columbus when she married Dan, and that's just like my road dog ever since. Like we try and bowl everything together.
Yeah, I
And
see.
then, of course, you know, Dan comes with the package, so we brought Dan along to hang out with us.
That's what's up there. Let's see. Godfrey asked, "Hey, have you ever been the only lefty that cashed in a tournament?"
If you look at the top, it's 16. The year I made the U.S. Open, 16 women made the TV show. I was the only lefty.
Wow.
Yep, I was the only lefty. You can verify that, but I'm pretty sure I was the only lefty.
Hey, there you go. Shoot.
Yeah.
Hey, when you what? So you said you graduated 2008. What year did you go on tour, and were you full time, part time? How did that go?
Yeah, well, I graduated college in 2008, and that's the same year I made tour trials. And in 2008, how it worked actually was you had two options. You could go and just bowl the U.S. Open, or you could pay like an extra $750 and qualify for tour trials. So I went and did both. So I used my U.S. Open scores to help me qualify for tour trials. So that year, I made it. I won tour trials that year. I led tour trials. I qualified number one, and that's how I ended up making the show as well. So then your scores that year basically allows you to be on tour for the next coming year. And I was full time. I bowled all the stops maybe except one, and I did really well for it being my first year on tour. Back then, crazy. The women, how they did it was they attached the women's show to the men's show.
Right.
So say the men would have, top five would bowl. We would qualify with the men that week on the same lanes as the men. And the top two women would make it to the TV show, which sucked. How hard is it to make top two? We were called the Sweet 16. So 16 women every week go out there and got a check no matter what. And I was a part of that 16. We were considered kind of like exempt back then, like our exempt women's field.
Right.
So top two made it every week for the TV show. I never made a TV show, but I had top five finishes. If it would have been like now, then I would have made a few more shows, but just the way it was back then with less women.
Right.
And we were guaranteed a check every week. So
there you go. Hey, Sid said, what is your favorite bowling ball? Has it changed over the years?
Yeah, like I said, when I think George asked me earlier, my favorite bowling balls probably of all time would be the Vapor Zone and a Strike Zone, but the original ones though. My favorite two bowling balls. Anybody that's known me, I've been talking about them balls since I was probably 20 years old.
And how many do you have?
Well, I probably had about 4 or 5 Strike Zones in my life. Mm-hmm. Back then I probably had like one Vapor Zone. I got a new Vapor Zone now. But I wouldn't say that Vapor Zone is my favorite ball now. My favorite ball now is probably like that Katana Legend, and that uppercut. The uppercut is sweet.
Yeah, I heard. Like said, a couple people came on the show and said that uppercut is.
It's for real, and I wouldn't lie to you.
Look, Trish, who is the champ? Greg.
Shut up, Greg. Hi, Greg. I was talking about him earlier. I don't know how soon he got on, but I was telling him a story, Greg, about how when I was bowling the Queens in North Carolina, I called him and asked him for advice. So that was one of the people I used to call a long time ago to ask for help when I got in a jam.
There you go. Hey, who did you rely on most while on tour? And did you have a travel partner while you were out there?
Yeah, me and Jen were roommates back then. Who did I rely on the most as far as like information or
if you needed a drilling pattern or anything, just like, dude, I need your help. And you just got on the phone and called.
I mean, I know this is if I had to get on the phone and call, because honestly, out there, like I said, I wasn't signed with anybody when I was on tour.
Right.
Um, honestly, it was hard to get balls when I was out there. It was two people who I remember honestly helping me when I was out there. One was Chris Warren, and the second one was Tony Reyes. I remember Tony Reyes gave me some bowling balls when I was out there. Like the nicest thing somebody had done for me when I was out there.
Right.
Um, so when I was out there, I was pretty much on my own. But of course, I don't know, honestly, who I would call back then. That was so long ago as far as who I relied on. I really can't remember.
Okay. Okay. Hey, it's funny because I don't know if a lot of people pay attention, but I've seen it numerous times. I can tell when you leave one too many 7 pins because you come in the bowling alley with your hair down, and all of a sudden,
The hair go up.
so
The hair go to ponytail.
does that mean it's time to go to work?
Yep. Yep.
Because
Yep. One too many is going to ponytail.
I'm like, uh-oh, she got that ponytail. Y'all already know what that means.
So hopefully Sunday T Reid coming.
Right, right. Man, wait, like I said, you don't talk a lot. So can you tell us, or your viewers here, something that we don't know about Trish? It can be bowling-wise, life-wise, just something that we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing I was going to tell you was about me going to Ohio State. I don't know that a lot of people knew that about me. The fact that I had graduated and got a degree from Ohio State, that's the one thing. I don't know if a lot of people know about something, a bowling fact. This tournament in Pittsburgh called, I don't know if we call it the Cochran Open now. It didn't went through a couple name changes, but basically what they do is they do qualifying for maybe 3 or 4 different days. No, not 2 days, but 3 or 4 different squads. You take so many off the squad, and then you go to like a match play and blah, 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 blah. Then they finally get down to the final 6, which is the finals. I was like the first woman ever to make it to the finals in that tournament. And that's a pretty prestigious tournament from our area. I know a lot of people fly into that. You have a lot of pros that bowl that tournament. And I was also the first woman to ever win the Dayton Open, which is a men's tournament. And yeah, so that was kind of some cool, fun facts about me.
Absolutely. Do you feel, well, I'm going to come to this. I'm going to come to my question in a minute. Hey, Sid asks, how many 3s and how many 8s?
I don't have the exact number. Man, I don't be knowing how people be knowing the exact number of 300s and 800s. I just be like, how y'all keep count of that?
Right.
But I'm like around about 300s. I would probably say, I don't know, maybe about 25, maybe 300s or so. And 800s probably around like 15 to 17.
Hey, there you go.
Yep.
Hey, Jalen Mosley asks, what is the main thing that helps you stay focused on the lanes?
I'll be honest, like I don't like wasting my money. So it's like if I'm gonna put my money up, I'm gonna be focused. I just work too hard for my money to be out there, playing around and just not focused. So I just see it as like an investment. And I think I just always also want to, represent my dad and my family in a good way. So for me, it's like when I'm out there, I'm a representation of the Reid last name. So that kind of keeps me focused too. I want to, I don't want anybody looking at my dad like, what kind of woman has he done raised out here, running around here acting crazy? So, I mean, of course I didn't have my moments, but for the most part, I would say that I'm always pretty respectful in the bowling alley.
Okay. Do you feel that guys fear you sometimes when you step on the lanes and knowing how good you are?
I don't think so. Fear, I don't know if that's the right word. I don't think so. Not fear. I would say maybe this was the word I would use. Maybe some guys maybe underestimate, but not just me personally. I think women in general, because of course not of course, but they might look at us as maybe as if we're not supposed to beat them. So maybe they don't go as hard as they could because they're like, oh, that's just a woman, You know what I'm saying? And I get it kind of sort of because when you look at men, one thing I can think of, they send like a lot of scouts, a lot of messengers. So my strike percentage is going to be, sometimes a little less than theirs.
Right.
So I think that they will look at a man and woman and say, "Oh, he's going to outpower her, and he should probably win." Should in quotes. So maybe it's like maybe just like underestimating, or you can kind of go on the other spectrum and try too hard too as a man. Like I don't want to get beat by a woman, so then you could try too hard. So I
Oh
don't know.
yeah.
I don't think scared though is the right word.
Well, not so. Well, you know what I meant though, because when they see you, like you said, they maybe underestimate is the proper word
Yeah,
for it.
maybe underestimate, maybe.
Yeah, because they look like, oh man, she's a lefty. She throws the ball okay. She doesn't have
Mhm.
all the ball speed or the
Right.
rotation. But yeah, I remember the first time I seen you, I was like, damn, when is she gonna stop striking? How about
Oh,
that?
it must have been a good day then.
It was. It was at the Reed. No, yeah, it was at the Reed, I believe, when you won with Jordan.
Jordan. Oh, maybe 2017, maybe.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And
Yeah, I did. I had a good weekend that weekend.
oh, absolutely. Like I said, I looked. I was like, damn, does she ever stop striking?
Yeah, that was a good weekend. But you know what? The funny thing is, like, I started off again slow on Friday night actually, and I went through like every ball in my car to try and get lined up for Friday night doubles, and end up doing pretty good that weekend. But yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it is crazy because when people strike, they strike a ton, and you remember it. Hey,
Mm.
what is your routine when you need a strike in the 10th frame?
I be trying to calm my heart speed down. I think it's gotten worse now because I'm not bowling as much as I used to bowl, when I was on tour or right after tour. So honestly, like things just don't come as natural as they used to. I remember feeling like if I needed three in the 10th, I'm gonna get them first two and I'm gonna throw that third one good. Now if I don't strike, it don't strike, but I'm gonna throw it good. Now, it don't pry off as easy. And I think it's just because I'm not bowling as much. I'm not bowling the type of tournaments I used to bowl. So, you can have some self doubt sometimes. So I
Yep,
think, when I need them three in the 10th, I really, really have to focus now and just be like, relax and make a good shot. So,
yep. Hey, DP said, how has your experience in the PBA transformed your bowling career?
oh, a lot. That's a good question. I like before I went on tour, um, people who have like watched me bowl from the time that I was before tour to now tour, you will see my game is totally different. Like totally different. Like I was just going off just like raw talent before I went on tour. And that got me there. But in order for me to kind of get to that next level, I had to learn a lot of stuff. I couldn't just be the person that threw it hard and had a lot of rotation. Like, yeah, that was good for a woman, but out there, I had to get that ball to be more in a roll versus me throwing it hard. So I had to learn more about angles, more about ball surfaces, more about projection into the lane, a lot of different things. So I think if I would have never went on tour, I probably still would have been very, very just this one type of bowler. But going out there forced me to learn different things. Now I wasn't out there for a long time, but the time that I was out there, I did learn a lot of stuff, which then took me to my amateur tournaments after that. I had so much knowledge and experience that it did help me a lot with not even being on tour, just bowling in amateur events, period.
Right. Hey, what stopped your PBA career?
2008, what that was tour. 2009 was tour. 2009 or 10, they dismantled our tour. We didn't have the funding. Luckily, like I said, I had that Ohio State degree, so I just took that and went and got a job. So it was something good to fall back on. So that's why I do, recommend people to get some type of trade, learn something, because if the bowling don't work out, at least you got something to fall back on.
Dang, that's
But
some
yeah,
good
that's
advice right there.
yeah, definitely. Like I don't want people to be pigeonholed into like just doing the bowling. Like have something else. And even if it's not bowling, like I think somebody asked me about the speaking, like do I like speaking? Like even if it's not you out there actually bowling, find something in the bowling industry that you like, whether it's going to talking to the youth, whether it's working for these companies, just have something to fall back on when the bowling, don't necessarily work out.
Absolutely. Hey, preach, 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 Trish, for real. Hey, what is your most memorable bowling achievement?
Everybody's going, I mean, of course, the obvious would be the U.S. Open, but is that my most? I think the U.S. Open was good, but I think the most memorable came this year when I was inducted into the Ohio Hall of Fame. Because to me, that was just kind of like um, the icing on the cake, honestly, for like all the hard work I put in, all the tournaments I didn't went to, all the cuts I've missed, all the crying over missing cuts. I mean, it's just a lot. So then when you get acknowledged on that level, it's kind of like, okay, it was all worth it. So I think that's probably my most memorable, and I had my family and friends there, so that would probably be it to this point.
Yeah, that's dope right there. I'm gonna come back to this question here, but when you miss a cut,
Ooh,
what goes on through your mind when you're not at the bowling alley on Sunday?
man, I'm gonna be honest. Like first, I'm usually pissed off. I ain't talking to nobody. I remember it was a tournament in Kentucky, and me and my dad went to, and I missed that cut. I can't remember what tournament it was, but I missed that cut. Kentucky is probably about 3 or 4 hours from Columbus. I drove home in dead silence. Like I wasn't talking. I was pretty upset. Um, but I think more so when I'm calmed down, I kind of honestly I go to my go-to. I start asking questions. Like I call my go-to people and I say, "Hey, this is what I seen. This is what I was doing. This is what was happening." And I just start making those mental notes on, "Hey, so next time you come across this pattern, this is how you're gonna kick the seven out, or this how you gonna play the lanes. These are the angles you need." So again, I just kind of process it as best as I can, and I find somebody that can help me process it that in a way that I can understand it.
Okay, that's what's up. All right, Jerry Johnson, Vegas. He said, "When did you know that bowling was it for you? That you wanted that? It's like, hey, I'm about to do this."
Mm, I think I knew right when I graduated from high school. I remember having a conversation with my dad saying, "Okay, I graduated. I just want to go try out for tour." And back then, they did have the women's series, or they were about to start it. That was 2003, 2004 ish. And my dad was just like, "I want you to do it. I think you can do it, but I just want you to go ahead and get this degree first." So that's why I ended up going to Ohio State. But I knew right when I graduated from high school, I didn't want to do anything else but bowl.
Hmm,
That
okay,
was it. I just went to bowl right after high school.
there you go. Hey, Ashley Blakey said, "Any advice you would give women looking to compete in today's tour?"
Hi, Ashley. Good question. I would say be mentally prepared. Honestly, that's like the best advice I can give you. I think when I did it, I had Jen with me, so we could kind of like bounce off of each other as far as like feelings, emotions, strategy, or asking questions. But you definitely got to be mentally prepared, because for me it was like I went out there, and if I didn't have Jen, I didn't have nobody. Like, not trying to be mean, but those girls weren't my friends. We didn't break bread together. We remember I was the only girl on the show who had no collegiate experience. So that wasn't my area. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't what I was doing. I was bowling, but I wasn't bowling with those girls. Those girls was doing it at a different level. So
Right.
I would just say, just make sure you're mentally prepared, because imagine how it feels going out there, not having that group of girls, not having any friends, missing cuts, struggling picking up spares maybe that day. You just gotta be mentally ready to understand, like, every day ain't gonna be your day, but next week I'm gonna get them.
All right, Ken Rogers asks, "Hey, would you ever consider coaching and imparting your knowledge to the next generation?"
Yeah, I do. I actually want to coach. I want to coach a girls team.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's my goal. Like, I wouldn't mind coaching boys, but I really want to coach a girls team. I just, when I was growing up, I didn't really have like a coach. So I kind of want, I mean, I don't have all the knowledge, but I think I have enough to inspire some people. And I think like really that's for me what it's about. Kind of just, I just want to inspire some young girls just to want to do it at the next level.
Hey, Ron Sands, I'm not for sure if you on here or not, but Kim Kearney, hey, all of y'all, put a word out. Get Trish on a women's team. Help.
Yep,
Get
I
her
was
out
trying
there.
when I first moved here. I was reaching out to some high schools here about coaching some bowling teams. So yeah, I definitely do want to do it. Like I think kind of that's where my passion is. Of course, I still want to bowl, but hey, we all getting older out here, and things start changing, bodies start breaking down. But I definitely, even after I can't do it at the level I want to do it, I still want to be able to be in that industry, just in a different way.
Right.
Shut up, Stroke. He out there cheating them seniors and got the nerve to be talking about I'm cheating these women. A cheater.
Oh, that is funny. Hey, what do you think we as TNBA members need to do to make our organization better?
Um, it's hard to say. Like I feel like listen to the bowlers, but again, you can't listen to everybody. So that's the hard part. Like I think they just need to, in my opinion, I think they do a good job with what they have. A lot of people aren't coming out like they used to when I first started bowling TNBA events. But I think we just need like some consistency, honestly. I think maybe, and again, I'm just kind of off the top of my mind for Cleveland, when we were bowling in Cleveland, I know last year it went to Louisville, but we had what, 3 different tournament directors in the last 5 or 6 years. We had uh I can't think. We had at least 3 directors. I'm just like pick somebody and build off of that. Like having like all these changes year after year after year, I can see how that would turn people off. And I
Right.
understand they're doing it, trying to find the right fix, but find that fix and just build off of it and kind of find like that group of bowlers you trust that don't have anything that to gain off of it, and listen to those bowlers because people are going to tell you what they want to hear based off what they want, but it's not really about what an individual wants. It's what's best for the whole organization. So just find those group of people that you trust and go from there.
There you go. Hey, Greg said, how do you bounce back after a bad game? Any mental game tricks?
I just try and leave that game there because I be looking at some of my old bracket sheets and that middle game be crucial. I'm like, dang, I really shot, a hot 170 there, but then follow it up with a good 250. So I just try and leave it there. But I think with me, my dad taught me, who cares about, you want to win the brackets, but if you don't, it's still a bigger picture out there. Like, go win the tournament. So who cares if the brackets is gone? Just keep in mind that hey, I got this whole tournament to win. So I just like, hey, if I got 8 games to get it and I have 1 or 2 bad games, I'm good enough to pop off a 270 every now and then. So I just try and focus on getting to that good pair and hopefully capitalizing off of it.
Okay. Let's see. Hey, DP said, you answered this earlier, but you can tell him again. Do you ever think you will ever return to the PWBA tour?
I don't know. It's so different now. I think the good thing about it when I did it was, like I said, we had the exempt field and all the ladies were guaranteed. Even if you finish in dead last spot in that top 16, we were all guaranteed, I want to say $1,800 every single week, no matter what we did. If I went out there and shot 130 every game, I was getting $1,800. So for me, that was an incentive for me to be out there. Now I just can't see myself going out there full time doing it and the money's not guaranteed. I can't see it. Trisha Reid. He's so nice, isn't he? Stroke. So I don't know. I don't know if I would do it again or not. The format would have to be different. The money would have to be different. Um, and again, I did that when of course, I was 23 years old. Like I didn't have responsibilities that I have now. Now you got car note, and you got this, and you got that, you got this.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I just can't see myself going out there and not being guaranteed. Hey, girl. Hi, Gail.
Yeah, that's what's up there, man. Anything else you want to tell our viewers, man? Like, this, hey, I'm going to tell y'all now. If y'all got any more questions, make sure y'all ask right now because when y'all see Trish in the bowling alley,
Quiet.
right, she will, she
I
will
ain't saying nothing.
talk to you. I'm telling y'all, man. So please ask y'all questions because, hey, y'all going to be like, dang, dude, she just talked to Bowtie for like almost an hour.
Oh, I do want to thank Gail for asking me to come on. I was telling her, like, girl, I'm just, I said it would be horrible, but I do want to thank Gail for reaching out and asking me, did I want to come on and talk bowling with you guys?
Hey, like I said, dude, I love it because you shared your story. It's not just bowling; it's just your story in general. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this is all about. Because a lot of people like say, yeah, we know Trish Reid. Oh, she's this, she's that, she bowls, but we don't know the person outside of the bowling alley. And tonight, we just learned a little more. So I appreciate that for real.
Thank you. And I do want to tell people, like, I just think, like, my bowling career took a different path. Like I said, I didn't go to college for bowling. I didn't have a coach. I took a different path, but by most people's standards, you would say that I had a pretty good bowling career. So I just want people to know, like, even if you don't go to college for bowling and you're not in like that in group, just do it your own way and keep working and you can still make it happen. You don't gotta conform. Just do you. And if you can bowl, you can bowl. Who cares? You don't need nobody to co-sign your greatness if you're great.
Hey, tell them again, T. Tell them again. Hey, Brandi said, hey.
Hey V.
Hey, if you had to throw one strike for $1 million, what ball would you throw?
Woo. It's,
And you can go from Brunswick to Storm to Roto Grip to any ball. What ball would it be?
it's gonna have to be that strike zone. That strike zone was so sweet. Maybe people sleeping on that ball, but that ball was so sweet, man. Like it was sweet on many conditions. And you know what? Like I love my jab, but if I could get that strike zone back in my hand, like how it used to roll, man.
Let's see. Like DP said, what changes would you like to see in the game? I would like to see the lefties have to move. That's what I would like to see. How about that?
Man, listen, I would like to see less oil on the left side. I'm so tired of leaving that flatty.
Oh my God. Hey,
Can
I almost hit
I
that
take
end
oil up the
button.
left?
With you saying that, my finger almost hit that end button. Ooh, ooh,
I'm so tired of leaving that flatty.
man.
But I don't know what changes would I like to see in the game today. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like a big person like to complain about like how the game is. I just think like with everything evolves like in every sport. So it's like it's inevitable that things are going to change from how they were, back in the day to now to whatever we're going to see 10, 15 years from now. So I don't know. I don't really know what changes I would like to see in the game. What I would like to see is bowlers stop complaining. I would like to see that change. Maybe not the game itself, but the bowlers can stop complaining.
Hey, what PBA or PWBA tournaments would you recommend bowling as an amateur?
Yeah, I think like especially for women and you trying to like get into the game and get to that next level, I would definitely recommend going that bowl to U.S. Open in the Queens. At least 2 or 3 years. Like those are the tournaments where you get to be around the best of the best women. You learn so much about yourself. It's longer format. You get to see different games, different types of bowlers. It's just an amazing experience. I think my first Queens was in North Carolina, I think, and I think from there I was like really hooked because I was just like, man, I can't believe all these great women bowlers are out here like that. So I think going to be out there and seeing it, it's like a different experience. And I guess the same thing for like the guys for like the Masters and the US Open.
Right. Yep. Hey, Jalen Mosley asks, I see your pops is always there watching you compete. How much does it help having that strong support system?
It's like that's everything. Honestly, like of course I'm the one out there throwing the ball, but how I talk about like being mentally tough, like honestly, half those cuts that I've made in my life, I wouldn't be able to do it without him because there's so many ups and downs with bowlings. You catch them bad pairs, I'll be ready to I'll be ready to for real just cry in the moment. But I literally just go back there and talk to him. He probably give me like a little hug, go get me something to drink, and we just sit there and he'd just literally just be like, just calm down. We got 3 or 4 more games. So honestly, like half my probably more than half, probably 90% of my success I owe to him just being there and being supportive. I think everybody needs that.
Absolutely. Now that like it's been a couple of tournaments now I've been to with you, and I don't see Pops there. I see Lamar there.
Mm-hmm.
Does Lamar ever is he like a good eye back there for you as far as helping your game?
Yeah, definitely. Like, and we like when I first moved here, we used to go practice a lot together. Well, I would practice, and he would like record me, and he would tell me like your rotation is weak, and sometimes sometimes that's hard to hear, but I mean if it's weak, it's weak. So yeah, definitely like, and he'll like look at my videos and be like, well, on this video, this happened versus this video. He's a basketball coach, so he has an eye for things like that. So it's good having him back there. Sometimes I don't want to hear it, but he be right. Like, he'll be like, Trish, you just need to hit it more. And I'll start working on that, and my strike percentage would go up a lot. So I just think, period, like it's just good having somebody back there, kind of whether it's for mental support or whether it's just the eye for what you're doing wrong. Maybe your feet are a little fast and you can't actually feel it because you're in the moment. But it's
Right.
good to have, him back there like, hey, babe, them feet fast or you ain't hitting it. Your rotation looked off. What about a ball change? It's always good.
There you go.
Now,
Hey,
am I always open
great
to
job,
it?
Lamar. Great job, Lamar. Keep up the great work, brother.
They say good job, Lamar. He in the other room.
Yeah. Hey, what would you tell a younger version of yourself to help influence our youth in bowling today?
Um, just I guess I think I like the way I did it as a youth, honestly. Like I kind of did it my own way. What would you tell the younger version of yourself to help influence our youth? But I was okay, this is a good one. I think I just wanted it so bad when I was a youth. Just to work on your attitude. Like I was a hothead. So I think that if I had worked on my attitude when I was a little younger, maybe things would have came a little faster for me. So like I would just want the youth to kind of, I know you want it, I know you want to slap them strikes out, but just understand like it's not always gonna be a strike. You're gonna have those rough days. Some days that timing gonna be off, but don't get so down on yourself. Just before getting mad, just go work on it.
There you go. Hey, Stroke asks, hey, will we ever see a two-handed woman bowler?
I think so. I definitely think so. Um, every year we say, are we gonna see this? We didn't think that we would see, two-handers dominating the tour. I mean, I don't think I thought that would ever happen. We
Right.
got, Belmo, we got all kind of Palermo, we got all kind of stuff going on out there. So yeah, I definitely think so.
Okay. Hey, do you have a bowling idol? If so, who is
Hmm. Idol. Somebody. Ooh, good question.
it?
Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. Not really.
growing up, looking at bowling, you didn't just like, man, I love the way she throws that. But you didn't have that person?
Not really, because remember, like I said, when I wasn't, we had like these JTBAs in our area. I wasn't a person going around traveling for youth bowling. Remember, I was just in my own little bubble at home bowling Saturday morning league. I just so happened to be a good bowler. So I didn't really have those people that I looked up to per se.
Hmm.
Like I think now, like I think the one person like I look to a lot and I say, man, I just really love like his passion for the game. Like just I mean, there's a few people, but the one person that really sticks out to me is Zeke Bate. I just think that he really wants it a lot. He works hard. I mean, he's helpful um, whenever he can be to people. Um,
Right.
so I think that would be the person that I look to now and just say, like, I just love their passion for the game.
Okay. Hey, Daryl Jeffries asked, or Junior asked, is regionals worth bowling?
I haven't bowled a regional since I was probably 10 years ago. So I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what's going on out there with those regionals. But I mean I don't know about it financially, but I do think that if you want a place to I guess try out these different patterns, that yeah, I guess it would be a good place to go. It's like a starting point. Instead of just going out there and going straight to the tour, I think when I was coming up and me and Jim were kind of bowling some regionals, I think the rule was you could bowl two a year or cash in two a year before having to get your card if you want to bowl the third one. Now, I don't know if that's the same rule now because this was like a long time ago, but that's a good place where you don't have to get your card, but you can still go out there and compete with some of the locals and some of the great regional players and even some touring pros for the weekend and see how your game fares with them. So I think it's a good starting point, definitely.
There you go. Does your dad bowl, or did he bowl?
Not anymore. He used to bowl. Actually, probably when I was in my early 20s, we bowled a league together. So that was always fun. But he doesn't bowl anymore.
Okay.
Used to though.
Hey, how often do you practice? Before we got on quarantine.
Before, okay, a good question. Like twice a week. Like
So
twice a week.
twice
So
a week of practice, and then 2 nights a league.
right. Yep. And then I would like up it, of course, like I said, like if I had a big tournament going on.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, about 2 times a week. When I was living in Columbus, me and my best friend Vernon, we stayed in the bowling alley. So it was probably a little more back then. Probably about I would probably go about 3 or 4 times a week in practice.
There you go, man. Hey, guys. Like I said, I have the infamous Trisha Reid on here, man. Like I said, if y'all see her in the bowling alley, she may be like, hey, hey, and then tune you out. But dude, I appreciate all y'all questions. See, I really, really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, man. It really means a lot to me, and of course, I know it means a lot to the viewers to know Trish outside of the bowling alley.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And look, tell Lamar we said what's up,
I
man.
will.
Look, you take care of yourself and y'all be safe out there. You hear me?
All right. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
All right, Trishy.
Bye.
Bye. Man, guys, that was my girl Trish Reid. Lives in Detroit from C-Bus. Dude, it's crazy. She, like I said, she doesn't talk a lot, but tonight we had her on here for over an hour, and that's huge for her. That is huge. But if you guys missed it, man, hit that share button. Go over there, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and man, let's go ahead and keep this going. Tomorrow evening, 5:00 p.m., I have Mr. Mark Baker coming on the show, man. If you guys don't know Mark Baker, trust and believe, he is very knowledgeable of the game. So Mark Baker tomorrow at 5 p.m. Have your questions ready, man, and tune in, man. Let's go ahead and hit this share button. And I appreciate all you guys, everybody that came on and supported and asked the questions, man. Thanks, Jill. Appreciate you, Brody. So look, you guys enjoy your evening. I already been enjoying mine. Cheers, Red Cup game all day long. But hey, real talk, I love you guys. Have a great weekend. And happy Mother's Day to all my mothers out there. Trish, I forgot to tell you that, but happy Mother's Day to all you guys, man. We really appreciate everything that you guys do for us. So love you guys, man. Hey, Bowtie out. Peace.